Without further ado, you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
Okay, I don't know if it's at 6 or at 18. I don't care where it is.
Or they move up.
Or they move up, they move down, however they do it. But if one of their picks in the first round of the NFL draft is running back Bijan Robinson, I will be absolutely more than fine with that.
Wow.
Because if you are going to count on DeAndre Swift to be healthy, fool me once, shame, you can't get fooled again.
Yeah.
I love DeAndre Swift. I think when DeAndre Swift is healthy, there might be 3 or 4 running backs I would pick in the National Football League before I pick him. But you have got to protect yourself. And if you look at the games he played, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 5 in games that he's played. 9 and 5. You know what that means? They were 0 and 4 in games he didn't play. Or 0 and 3.
0 and 3.
You know what that means? They didn't win any games when he didn't play.
Yeah.
You can't afford that. So if he's going to miss 3 to 4 games a year, you can't afford to not protect yourself.
That's losing playoffs games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That costs you a playoff opportunity. I really like Bijan Robinson. And the only reason the Seattle Seahawks, I don't want to say the only reason, a major reason the Seattle Seahawks are in the postseason right now, we can talk about everybody we want, is one guy.
K9.
Kenneth Walker.
And they had Rashad Penny, and they knew to protect themselves, and they were smart.
Kenneth Walker III came back the last 2 weeks of the season. Do you know what Seattle didn't do when he was out late in the season?
Win.
They didn't win a game either. When they slid, it was Kenneth Walker who was out. They come back, they win their last couple games of the season and make the playoffs. Do you know why? Because Kenneth Walker was back healthy playing again. You have got to protect yourself at that position.
I asked last year, was it interesting? And if you guys remember, if you don't, that's fine. I was like, would you guys take a chance on K9 in the second round?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I asked that question because of DeAndre Swift not being able to be there. And also, I went a little deeper. I said, Georgia running backs have a short shelf life. I don't know what it is about the University of Georgia, but those guys are phenomenal in Athens. But when they get into the NFL, it happens quick. It's over quick. Todd Gurley was the best thing ever created. Then it was gone. No Sean Moreno, then it was gone. Sony Michel never got started. Nick Chubb is the exception to the rule. So I asked that question. You got to protect yourself. The NFL, as much as it is about the pass, although that kind of rhymed, as much of it is about the passing game. Everybody's passing the ball. Everybody's throwing it out there. That's why wide receivers are getting paid. The teams that win can run the ball, though.
Yeah.
Like, look, when Dallas wins games, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are part of the program. The program is Tony Pollard, Ezekiel Elliott. When they don't win.
And guess who's been out the last few weeks? Tony Pollard.
Exactly. When Tom Brady won the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Leonard Fournette was phenomenal. All those losses they've had this year, what can't they do? They can't run the ball. We talk about Buffalo struggling. Buffalo, you're nervous. Why are you nervous? What did you say when I asked that question?
Can't run the football.
Run the ball as much. Look at the 49ers. You know the 49ers are going to be fine. You know why? Because they can run the ball.
Yeah, they can.
Like the teams that can run the ball, the running back is still valuable when it comes to winning in the playoffs and winning the Super Bowl. You got to have a team that can run the ball.
And you look at Jared Goff the last 9 weeks of the season, Maz. 15 touchdowns, no interceptions. Don't be mistaken. That directly correlates to the Lions being effectively able to run the football because DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams were both healthy at the same time.
Yeah.
It just worked.
They
got healthy when they needed it.
They said, you know what? DeAndre Swift may be our best all-around running back. He may be arguably the best all-around in talent in terms of athletic ability, blah, blah, blah. But we know we can give Jamal Williams the ball 20 times a game and he'll be just fine. So let's switch it up. As opposed to make DeAndre the bell cow, let's give DeAndre Swift 11 carries a game and throw him 5 passes, and let's give the ball 22 times to Jamal Williams. That's what you saw in the second half of the season when they really got good as well. They just flip-flopped it. They said, all right, we'll give him this many carries, we'll give him this many, and that's when they took off.
And they used the tight ends. They went to almost an old school offense.
It did.
At the end of the year. And that's what wins. It really does
That's
win.
what won for the Detroit Lions
Yes.
when you put all your resources into that offensive line.
Correct.
Put resources
You might as well have
to
Bill
back that
Parcells
up.
on the sideline.
That's how you build that
Yeah.
team. I just think that would be a phenomenal pick. I know everybody wants defense, whether it's Brian Brisset and Joey Porter. Oh, let's just go chalk here. Defensive tackle at 6, cornerback at 18.
Right.
I think you can do better than that.
The thing about that is Bijan Robinson is a phenomenal running back. He's the best running back. In totality, he's the best running back in college football. It's not close.
Have you guys watched him a lot?
I have. I watched him early in the year. I watched him later in the year as well. Like, cause I was watching the games for Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
And I found myself watching Bijan Robinson, but Bijan, great running back. Totality, he's a great running back. He can block. He can hit the home run. He's physical. He can endure. He's a big dude too. He has some size to him. He's fast. But the thing about it is, the Detroit Lions, that Lions offense is stout. That Lions offense is very good. Like, let's make no mistake about it. Yes, the defense played better towards the end of the year. The defense just isn't it all the way total. You got to make sure that those first 2 picks are defense. And so I love Bijan Robinson. I love that thought, maybe. But you got to make sure that you get 2 defensive players in that first round, because those at those picks, 6 and 18, or if you try to move and package a deal, Ryan, like, you're going to get guys that can fit on this team and be starters, be Pro Bowlers right away. And that's what this defense needs. This defense needs some guys that you can depend on. It doesn't need to go into games where you're like, I hope Kirby Smart has a good game. I hope Jeff Okudah or Amon-Ra or Will, they make a play. I hope Malcolm Rodriguez can somehow force a fumble. You need to have guys on that defense that you know are going to make a play. Like, when you watch the 49ers, and I know this is a big example because they're great all the way around, but there's no hoping anything happens. Even when you watch the Jets team, that's a better example. When you watch the Jets defense this season, you weren't hoping that they made plays. You knew they were going to make plays. You were hoping that the offense can keep up and score you a couple points. That's why you got to focus on the defense, because you don't want to go into games hoping that guys can make plays. You want to go in the game knowing that guys on defense are going to make plays.
Here's where I'll give you some pushback on that, where I'll disagree with you. And there's not a James Houston in every draft, but it's a 6th-round pick. Looks like it's going to be a starter around here, or a very good player. Kirby Joseph looks like a Pro Bowl player. 3rd-round pick.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, third-round pick. What I'm saying is those first two picks, really the first 3 picks, the 2 picks in the first round, and then your first second-round pick. Man, I just think you go down the board and you grab the best available player. And even if that's no, I was going to say, I think they need offensive line help too. I think they need a guard somewhere in there. But that's where I think you draft best available. Now, there is an exception to all of that. Yeah. I wouldn't go draft a tight end in the first round or anything like that, but I don't know. I just think this general manager has shown that he can pluck a starter out of anywhere. Aleem McNeil is as dynamic a defensive lineman as there is in this conference. Aleem McNeil's a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah.
Kirby Joseph's a 3rd-round pick.
At the same time, the teams that can run the ball gave Detroit their most problems. You look at that Carolina game, for as much as you want to talk about Aleem McNeil, they got to get up front. That first pick, I can even somewhat meet you in the middle on the 18th pick and say, hey, look, if you want to take best available and it's blah, 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 you know what? I can agree on that pick. I'm not sacrificing 6. 6 has to be an interior lineman. 6 has to be an interior lineman because that's where they struggle. You don't have that guy that's getting into the pocket from the interior lineman position. Aleem McNeil, yes, he's dynamic, but a lot of times I saw him out of position. I saw the Carolina game. They ran right around him. So my thing is, you got to get the interior defensive lineman at 6. Now, if you and I want to dance on 18, I'm cool with that.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll dance with you on 18. 6, it's got to be an interior lineman.
That's what I'm talking about.
Don't forget, we got a guy named John Kaminsky on this team.
He's outside, though.
He's a free agent. And
you got to bring him back.
Did you see his text? His
yes.
tweet? His Instagram? Look at this guy.
Yeah.
Last year, he's like, please, trade me the hell out of here.
Can I please be released at his exit meeting at the end of last year?
And look at him this year.
Exit meeting this year. Can you please bring me back? He says, life is absolutely insane. Sacrifices had to be made, and uncertainty was my reality for most of my career. Let this season be a testament to the fact that your plays are coming. Keep putting your time and effort into what you want, and your big plays in life will come to you naturally. Learned a lot from this game and excited for what's next. Thank you, Lions organization and my family, for making this possible. If I haven't said it already, I want to be a Lion. How great is that?
I love it.
Yeah,
There's a third-round pick from the Atlanta Falcons just a few years ago. He couldn't get out of his own way there because they misused him,
Right.
like we have misused players over the years.
Right, it happens.
But once the Lions put him in the right spot, doesn't that sound good? The Lions put a player in the right spot, unlike past regimes where you lost guys like Kyle Van Noy, and I can think of many others, but not off the tip of my tongue right now.
It's so funny where one of Ryan's theories, ladies and gentlemen, is eventually it has to happen. And it's when we first started
Math.
When we first started getting on the show together in 2012, I was like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't have to happen, especially if you're talking about the Detroit Lions, because it hasn't happened. It won't happen. Well, I stand corrected. I guess at some point it has to happen, and it's happening for the Detroit Lions as you listen to John Kaminsky right there.
I mentioned John Kaminsky a couple of weeks ago about how much I love this guy.
They win with him.
The Lions defense really turned when he came back healthy. Do you know what the Lions record was in games that John Kaminsky played? 9-3.
9-3.
9-3. So it just goes to show. I think this team definitely needs a starting defensive tackle.
Yes.
A starting linebacker, middle linebacker, and you can make Malcolm Rodriguez a rotational guy.
Corner.
And a corner.
Yep.
Maybe 2 corners.
Yeah.
But definitely 3 starters defensively at every level. Defensive line, linebacker, and corner. How you go about getting those 3 starters, and maybe one of those guys is Tracy Walker.
You got a free agent, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. However you want to go about getting those guys. That's why if you could fill those 3 needs... Well, you got,
But here's the fun thing, and I know we're going to commercial. Here's the fun thing. But we're able to talk about now with the Detroit Lions, with the way that they're playing, with the way that they have players, with the way they have picks. Now you're able to talk about, maybe we draft here. Maybe we draft this. Maybe we draft this. Because the Lions and Brad Holmes have put them in a situation to be good. So where you need players, but you're not necessarily stressing in which order you get them in. Outside of 6 needs to be interior defensive lineman.